Plaintiff Tina Hammond says before her mother passed away recently, she confessed to Tina that the man who raised her may not be her biological father. Because this man passed away, Tina had to take a DNA test with his brother, who is the defendant's father, to find out whether or not this man could be her father. So she petitioned the court for a DNA test. Defendant Martinique Dickey says she's here on behalf of her father, who is too ill to travel. Martinique claims she always knew Tina to be her biological cousin, but she's happy her father took a DNA test to help Tina get some closure on this issue today.
Okay, and we're here today to determine whether you all are siblings?
Cousins.
Cousins, all right. I'll start with you.
In 2022, before my mom passed away, she told me that she wasn't sure if the man who was her husband, and I believe to be my father, was my father. He passed away in 2002. I spoke with my uncle, Philip, and asked him about doing a DNA test for me, which was because he was my father's brother. Time passed and we didn't do it, but eventually it came up again after my mom passed, and he did it for me. And so Martinique, who is my cousin, because he's unable to fly because of illnesses that he has, she came to represent him.
Okay. And sounds like you said the first time you were told this is in 2022 by your mother?
By my mother, yes.
Okay, but then on the other hand, I heard you say that you had asked for somebody to take a DNA and they just got around to it. Was that since 2022?
Yes, my uncle.
Okay.
Yes.
All right, so he finally got
He
around
did
to it.
it,
When
yes.
you say finally, it sounds like it's a long time, and it
No,
can't be a long
we
time. It's
actually
only
did it.
2022,
Yes.
okay. All right, why don't you give me some background?
As she stated, my father, who is Philip Dickey, I'm here in his stead, who could not be here today.
And that's your uncle,
That's-
we
Yes.
suspect.
Yes.
All right. Your father's brother.
Older
Got
brother,
it.
yes.
Yes, and my uncle Nate, my late Uncle Nate, I do not have any memories of him because they're
Her father.
of her father. There's a 14-year difference between Tina and I. I didn't grow up with my siblings because of the age difference. When I arrived, when I was born, my parents, like shortly after, divorced, and I went to live with my grandparents. And living over my grandparents, I would hear talks about Tina's parents and what was going on in their household. And then there came talks that Tina may not be related to us.
When did you start hearing that?
I heard that as a kid. Like as a kid, I want to say I had to be around like 8, 9. I met her in 2015 when I moved to Bronzeville. She's a community advocate in Inglewood.
Good.
And she's the only family that I have out south because all of my family is out west. And she just came and like embraced me and supported me of my being out there. Like if ever I needed something, she was there. And then in 2019, when my dad came to visit me in the summer, my dad and her had a conversation with her concern that she may not be my uncle's biological daughter. And so my dad agreed to take a DNA test because, again, my uncle is deceased. And my dad is the only living descendant.
Sibling.
So my dad agreed to that. However, since 2019, he's went through medical issues, and then we went into a pandemic, and which we have arrived here today, to him being in a place where he could go and test to assist with giving her peace in this matter, because that's what this is about, bringing peace to the situation. And regardless of what these results say here today, Tina will forever be my sister cousin.
And you all both here in town together?
Yes, or like because of her, she's like that link, that one cousin, that links everybody else.
Good.
We had a cousin who retired. She was like, "Come on, we're gonna go over here to cousin's retirement party." Or Martinique, did you know about this is going on? Because again, as I shared, she's an advocate in Inglewood.
Plaintiff Tina Hammond took a DNA test with the defendant's father to see if his deceased brother is Tina's biological father.
Does anybody help her? Any of the other family members? Help her with her work? Well, you should. That's part of your maintaining your relationship would be for you to go and be an advocate within the Inglewood community or the general community in Chicago to try and get some more resources to Inglewood. I do a little work over there in Inglewood.
Yes.
Trying to get some resources there. So, all right. And why did your mother tell you think that late in the game?
Well, my mother and father did not raise us our whole life. I was a baby and my sister was 2 years old when we were sent to Gary, Indiana to live with my great aunt. And my great aunt had 8 children.
No, she
And
was
one of
great.
them- Yes. She was definitely great. Anybody that raises someone else's children
Yes.
is a great person. She had 8 children. One of them was special needs. And she was a single mother on welfare.
Say she's great.
Everything against her. But she still opened up her heart and her home to my sister and I. And so my sister was told when she was about 5 years old that her father was deceased. His name was Nathaniel as well, just like my father. So there comes the like, wow, 2 men with the same name that look alike. Because she said she saw a picture of her father and he looked just like my father. So as time went on, you know, my aunt and Gary didn't tell us anything about him. My mother would come really just to drop things off, but never to visit. She just had no type of connection with us. It's like she wanted no parts of being a mother. So finally, when we finally came back to Chicago to stay, I was 9 and my sister was 12. So by this time, my mother was supposed to have been saved.
And where was Nate at this time?
He was with my mother. They were together. They were
He
married.
didn't want anything to do
And
with anybody either.
That was one of the reasons why I couldn't understand if he really was my biological father, why would I go to Gary and not stay with his siblings? Because he had 3 sisters and he had a brother. I didn't understand that. So as me and my sister got older, we began to talk about that. And she would say, well, I believe we have the same father. I said, well, I don't know, because nobody's going to tell the truth. Nobody's going to say why my late Aunt Benita, which was his youngest sister, told me that, they didn't have anybody to keep you all. And I'm thinking, so you telling me nobody in Chicago kept kids? Like we had to go to Gary and live, and I was molested by my cousin while I was there, so that was a trauma that my mother never even knew about.
Were they drug addicts or something?
No, nobody was on drugs. He was just an older cousin.
No.
Oh,
I'm talking about your parents.
No drugs. My mother at one time was in the streets, but she was never on drugs. Never on drugs. My father was a man that got up and went to work every single day. They were just those people to me that had kids that just didn't want them. And because they were allowed to give them to my aunt.
All right. And it's just odd. And you think it was like a deathbed declaration that she gave it to you in 2022, just months ago?
That she actually admitted it.
Yeah.
She actually admitted it because it was like if you tried to talk to her about certain things, I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
Even when she was in 2022, my mother had been in the hospital already 10 days before I even found out that she was dying from pancreatic cancer. I was the only one allowed to go to the hospital due to COVID. I wasn't going to even go because I felt like my whole life, every situation that I've had ever been in, she was never available for me. So her sister didn't even tell us that she was sick. One of her friends did, and I was the one to go to the hospital. So I did for her in her death what she couldn't do for me in life. But despite everything that she did or did not do for me, I can say that my sister and I turned out well.
Yeah.
We have children. My daughter is getting her master's degree. My son has a degree. They have jobs. So I turned that situation around. I turned it around. I didn't allow it to make me get on drugs or become an alcoholic. I became the mother that she could not. I did for her in death like I said, what she couldn't do for me in life.
Good. And let me compliment you, because a lot of folks go the other way, particularly men.
Absolutely.
Men try to be so macho, and they're not as strong as most women. Raising kids by themselves, raising other children, raised 8 by herself.
Yes.
The same thing with my mom and millions of other moms, and they don't turn to drugs because of their circumstance, which is the reason most folks say that they became addicts, to cover up the pain of the poverty, of the this, of the that, of the trauma. So congratulations for being able to make it through, because it is, the life you've lived is tough.
It is.
Abandoned by your parents and having to deal with that mentality that you had to deal with growing up as to why my parents aren't interested in us. And that by itself can drive you to
Absolutely.
to drugs. The majority of people would certainly suffer some type of life-altering circumstance based on what you all have lived through.
Plaintiff Tina Hammond took a DNA test with the defendant's father to see if his deceased brother is Tina's biological father.
You seem to be very intelligent, and I'm so glad to hear you're an advocate and leader and trying to uplift your community.
Absolutely.
And so thank you for that as well. Proud of you.
She does also inspire me in knowing her in the time. I've advocated for wrongfully convicted men and women through, like her. We've all have these circumstances and we don't fall victim of them, but we rise above them. My brother was wrongfully convicted of being involved in a jailhouse riot and was sentenced 100 years. And through his adversaries, he's developed, with the help of my sister, the realmaciodickey.com. Through that platform, he's helped many men and women through providing different services, resources, advising them as to how to go about their situation and better assist them on their journey, with pairing them with other people that can help them. And as Tina stated, she's done remarkable with her life, and as we've all have, through our circumstances, as I would say to the men and women that are out there, do not allow your circumstances to succumb you, but allow it to propel you. And if any men and women who need help as to getting out there, finding the resources to help them in their wrongful conviction, please do so by reach out to www.therealmaciodickey, because we're here to help. You've helped me. You were like, hey, start with your senator, get legislation involved. And from there, took me on a path, and I appreciate you.
And let me just make an observation and thank you once again. And I'm sorry, brothers, but more and more it's becoming apparent that we're having our sisters do our dirty work while we sit back and watch sports and chase women. Sisters out here making sure we vote. Sisters out here trying to get y'all out of prison. Sisters out here trying to rebuild the community that we've destroyed. So I gotta say that. And makes me so proud of black women, but makes me so disappointed in black men, because more and more and more when I'm out here, that's who carry the burden. So y'all outdoing the brothers, and we need to get up off the couch, drop the beer or whatever we're doing, and join these sisters. Black Lives Matter movement was led by black women and white youth. Once again, pushing y'all out front. Voting rights. That legislation, pushing y'all out front to do our dirty work. We need more legislation than anybody, black men.
Absolutely.
We need more legislation than anybody, and got y'all out front doing it. God bless y'all. And brothers, y'all see what y'all got these sisters doing, and y'all sitting home punking out. And Hopefully it's correct that you all are related, but unfortunately you're not.
Okay. So he's not. I'm not surprised.
Yeah, you right there. Well, I guess, yeah, that's all I'll say.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I guess your suspicions were
Thank you.
correct. And so glad we were able to get to the truth. Please keep doing what you're doing. And the family members that you all have become, if y'all want to keep that strong relationship, service is one of the best ways. Bye-bye.
Thank you so much. This does not change anything. I still love you. And thank you so much for always being there for me. And I'm going to continue to be there for you.
As always, I love you, Tina.
I love you too, Doyle.
Oh, you know I do.